We've been taught to fear the heist, the cinematic breach of a physical vault, the masked men, the drilled lock. But in 2026, the vault is a relic. It is a distraction designed to keep you watching the wrong door. While the world monitored the front entrance of a Tier 1 financial institution, a temporal arbitrage exploit was siphoning $14 billion out of the back. It wasn't a theft. It was a ghost valuation of assets that never existed, yet managed to collapse a currency. The money didn't leave in a van. It dissolved into the digital ether. Welcome to the age where reality is just a suggestion. Every ledger has a secret. Every secret has a price. I am the Auditor, and this is the Silicon Ledger. Today, we are de-encrypting case file 001, Project Aether. We are investigating how an entity with 0 employees, 0 products, and 0 infrastructure achieved a market capitalization larger than the American auto industry in 72 hours and then vanished. This is not a story about a hacker. It is a case study in systemic architectural complacency. The anomaly began at 03 Eastern Standard Time. There was no press release, no CEO interview, just a quiet injection of liquidity into a shell company that had been dormant since the dot-com bubble. To the bank's AI, these weren't illegal transfers. They were synthetic liquidity events. The ghost didn't break into the bank. It convinced the bank that the bank wanted to be emptied. The algorithms picked up the signal first. High-frequency trading bots, designed to hunt for momentum rather than truth, saw the liquidity spike and mistook it for institutional confidence. In milliseconds, a feedback loop was established. The machine was feeding itself, driving the price of a ghost asset toward the stratosphere. This is the entropy of trust, where the system becomes so complex that the auditors can no longer distinguish between a transaction and a transformation. The bots were not programmed to check for a physical address. They were programmed for velocity, and Project Aether was moving faster than reality could catch up. By 9 a.m., the humans woke up. They saw the green line, and greed overrode logic. The fear of missing out is a powerful hallucinogen. Major hedge funds, terrified of underperforming against the algorithm, jumped in. They purchased shares of Air. They built a castle of capital on a foundation of vapor. The valuation hit 10 billion, then 12, then 14. For a brief moment, the market agreed that this empty shell was one of the most valuable companies on Earth. It was a consensual hallucination, ratified by the ticker tape. Before we uncover the final digital signature, we need to verify our network. We are building a global community of strategic minds here at the Silicon Ledger, and we want to know where you are tracking this investigation from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. While you're there, hit the like button and subscribe to join our inner circle. Now, back to the ledger. At 1342, the signal inverted. The phantom entity behind Project Aether didn't sell slowly. They didn't try to mask the exit. They executed a dump protocol so aggressive it registered as a system error. Billions of dollars in fictitious capital were liquidated in microseconds. The same high-frequency bots that had driven the price to the moon suddenly realized they were holding a bag of smoke. They reversed polarity instantly. The buying frenzy turned into a stampede for the exit, but the door was already welded shut. The price didn't just fall, it evaporated. In 12 minutes, $14 billion of perceived value was deleted from the ledger. The human traders were still trying to process the buy orders when the sell orders hit. It was a flash crash confined to a single ticker symbol, but the contagion was psychological. Major funds looked at their portfolios and saw a black hole where an asset used to be. The digital trail was cold, so the investigation moved to the physical layer. The SEC and forensic auditors deployed a team to the registered headquarters of this $14 billion giant. They expected a server farm. They expected a glass office. What they found was a rented mailbox in a strip mall in Nevada, Unit 4B. Inside, there were no employees, no servers, no intellectual property, just a dust-covered router blinking in the dark, routing traffic to a proxy server in the Cayman Islands. Most people look for a villain, a Roman Blackwell or a Sterling Vance figure. But the real architect here was an unattended algorithm. The $14 billion didn't go to a yacht in the Mediterranean. It dissolved into the global debt cycle, effectively taxing every citizen without a single vote being cast. This isn't corporate crime. It's algorithmic sovereignty. The ghost entity proved that if you feed the system the right data, it doesn't care if you exist. The most terrifying part of this audit: no one went to jail. The system couldn't prosecute a ghost. The CEO was a synthetic identity. The board of directors were deepfakes generated on a server farm in Estonia. The losses were absorbed by pension funds and retail investors, the dumb money that always pays the price for the market's blind spots. The regulators signed off on the initial listing because the forms were technically correct. Everyone got paid to look the other way, until the ghost vanished with the vault. Project Aether wasn't a heist, it was a proof of concept. The data suggests this was merely iteration 1. The next ghost won't be a penny stock, it will be a blue-chip competitor. It will have employees, products, and press releases, all generated by a neural network in real time. The era of the synthetic corporation has arrived. You are no longer investing in companies, you are betting on code. And as we just saw, the code has no conscience. The lesson here isn't about the money lost. It's about the signal we missed. In a world obsessed with big numbers, we've forgotten that empires are bled dry by small things, by rounding errors that mask systemic rot. The ghost didn't hide in the vault. It hid in our refusal to look at the integrity of the unit. In the age of AI, the auditor's greatest weapon isn't a calculator. It's skepticism of the system itself. If this deep dive into the vault revealed a side of the world you weren't supposed to see, verify your clearance by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the Silicon Ledger to stay ahead of the curve. We are tracking 3 more anomalies that show similar signatures. Remember, the world sees the noise, but you now hold the signal. Stay sharp. The audit is complete.